Welcome back to Nick Lynch's Comic Corner, classic, known classic. This episode number 1689, and Doubleshot number 1583. I have two Marvel trades, both relating to the X-Men. First up, it is Ultimate Comics X-Men Volume 1, by Nick Spencer, Volume 1. I said by Nick Spencer because it doesn't have a subtitle with this one. Nope. This book collects the first 6 issues of the relaunch of Ultimate X-Men. Well, this is called Ultimate Comics X-Men. This is the first comic for the Ultimate version of the X-Men. At this point in time, I think this came out in 2011. It had been about 2 years. Because... why would I say it's been 2 years? Well, here's kind of the reason why. Because technically, there's only been one X-Men-related comic released between X-Men Requiem, number 1. It was a one-shot that came just after the conclusion of X-Men 100, Ultimate X-Men 100. And this book was Ultimate Comics X Origins, which was a series done by Jeff Loeb that mostly served as an introduction to Jimmy Hudson, a character named Derek, and mostly put that short-lived series sets up a team that barely appears afterwards. Yeah, they don't return again until the writer who succeeds Nick Spencer in this book. Now, Nick Spencer surprisingly does write this book pretty interesting to say the least. Now, we have Kitty Pryde forming her version of the X-Men, which is comprised of, get this, mind you, Jimmy Hudson, who, by the way, despite the cover, does not wear this costume. This is a lie. Apparently, the members are Iceman, Rogue. The only classes, yeah, they'll get to know about that. The Human Torch, despite the fact he's not a mutant. Yeah, the Human Torch. And Kitty Pryde has apparently is not using the identity of Shadowcat anymore. Oh no. She goes by the name of the Shroud. Yes, the Shroud. She's become the ultimate version of the Shroud. In the regular universe, it's a guy who's got a mark on his face and he can't freaking see. Now, starts off with Kitty Pryde meeting up with a prospective person, a family whose daughter is mutant, and take her basically trained. It's like, I talk to your daughter because she's about mutant powers. My husband with her, like, okay. And then you see him coming downstairs. Or after you hear like a bang upstairs, where you're wondering what the heck is going on here. He comes downstairs with a freaking shotgun and a helmet that looks like one of McNeil's helmets, except it's silver. And what exactly just happened here? This guy murdered his teenage daughter just because she's a mutant. Wow, I'm surprised Kitty Pryde didn't have these two arrested for murder. Oh wait, that can't happen in the Marvel Universe because if you kill a mutant, you basically go scot-free or a slap on the wrist. They murdered their freaking child. In real life, you actually will go to prison for this. Just because she's different? Oh, by the way, Kitty Pryde does nothing with this couple at all. Nope, she just walks away. And then you see her put on the Shroud attire. And oh, by the way, she does some stuff, basically the X-Men are not very happy with her for doing that. Also, if you're curious though, where's Jean Grey? She's off with the Runaways. Cyclops. Cyclops is dead. The original Wolverine is dead. Okay, Charles Xavier, who was mentioned here, he's actually dead. There's no Charles Xavier for her learning. If you wonder what happened to the place, the Institute was destroyed. Well, what was left of it anyways. The X-Men decided to destroy the place because apparently they thought, oh, Charles Xavier don't have the school anymore. And they apparently disbanded the X-Men. This will be reforming here. And here's the thing. The main villain in these issues is, of all people, Quicksilver. Yes, Quicksilver. If you're curious, though, who killed Cyclops in the Ultimate Continuity, it was Quicksilver. Why? Don't know why. They had him turn evil. For no reason. And I'm not going to blame Nick Spencer for this. I'm going to blame Jeff Lowe for that. Oh, and by the way, here's the weird thing about Quicksilver. They do bring up the fact that he actually would remember the Ultimates, but here's the weird thing about this. When he appeared in this book, this is the first time his ultimatum he'd been seen. And you're thinking, really? Yeah, really. And he develops a upgrade version of Cerebro in order to hunt more mutants. And the X-Men are headquartered out of the Morlock tunnels at this point. Yes, the Morlock tunnels. So basically, they're in the sewers. Yep, the sewers. Here's some of the X-Men. As you can see, Jimmy Olsen is not wearing his costume yet. Despite that, clearly on the cover, it looks like he's wearing his costume, but he really is. He has to wear it sometime later. He also has, this helmet says WW Solutions. Yeah. This opening scene, the whole thing with the death of that teenage girl was really stupid. Yeah, and apparently, get this, because it's Advent's Ultimatum, apparently it's illegal to be a mutant. So if you're a mutant, you have to turn yourself into the government and go to a. Get this, it's really a little later. What does mutant do? What does the U.S. government do with mutants? They shove them in concentration camps. I am not kidding about that. We also have Nimrod appear here. Yes, alt version of Nimrod. What apparently are the one of the Sentinels. And then we have William Stryker Jr. Okay, there is a bit of a strange thing about this guy. It's like basically Nick Spencer created this version of William Stryker to be an anagram of William Stryker's action in the comics. Yeah, he has a son. Him being a mutant, they reveal he's actually a mutant. And that's actually come from Belor Trask's son. I believe it's Simon Trask, if I'm not mistaken. As being having this Sentinel armor. That's actually something from the end of the Ultimate X-Men series, where humans were basically bigots, wore these stupid looking outfits. Yep. And by the way, Quicksilver just like this. I mean, with this outfit, you think he's freaking Hawkeye, but nope. It's Quicksilver. Yep. So basically, they go and free the mutants that were taken. Of course, that's when they rescue Rogue. Yeah. For a start for the series, of course, there's a mention here about Peter. As in, Peter Parker. The man who had just died in the events of death of Spider-Man just prior to this. Kitty Pryde briefly dated him. This is an interesting start for this series, per se. It's quite a dark series. Compared to Ultimate Spider-Man, it's very lighthearted, which something Bendis basically was never doing for his books. It's pretty good. I'll give this book roughly a 9 out of 10. Oh, by the way, the artist here is Paco Medina. Yep, that says the artwork here. Next up, we're going back in time. Not 10 years, mind you. Actually, 11 years. We're going back to the year of 1990 with this. This is X-Force, Cable, and New Mutants. Yeah, these issues released back in the early 1990s. This is collected issues 86 and 94. This actually was the start of Rob Liefeld's very brief run he had for New Mutants as the artist. Though he actually skips one issue due to him not being the interior artist. This book, like I said, collected issues 86, 94, and number 5, which Liefeld does draw that one. 86 is noteworthy for the end of the issue of the first cameo appearance by Cable. And here on the cover, that's Cable's first appearance. And according to Liefeld, there's also something here co-written by Vivian Season and Dwight Thurman. And some arc by Bob Hall. Liefeld say he did it on purpose with Cable being on the cover. Just to know Cable showed up here. The first issue of this has, get this, the Vulture appearing, which, yeah, I gotta say, Liefeld, the way he draws Vulture is actually pretty good. I mean, Yeah, I know Liefeld's artwork tends to get criticized by a particular YouTuber I subscribe to. I don't mind his criticism. Of course, we also have the Terrible Tinkerer. Yes, Terrible Tinkerer. So he has a bunch of Spider-Man characters. We have Boom Boom. Now, the members of this lineup are simply put are Boom Boom, Cannonball. It's simply who was part of the Mutants at the time. Excuse me. And the Volatile stuff only appears in just his first issue alone. And of course, you have Freedom Force in here. Yes, they were the attempt to reform the Brotherhood of Mutants. Now, here's the first ever appearance of Cable at the end of issue 86. That's Cable in his debut. And here's that classic cover. Mm-hmm. This cover's been spooked a few times over the years. Not as much as, let's say, some other covers. Yeah, so basically we have Cable show up here. By the way, that's his first in-comic appearance as Cable. We deal with Mutant Liberation Front. Mostly still there's some new characters like Warlock. Doug Ramsey is not here. We also have Danny Moonstar. And look, we have first appearance of another character, Strife, who is Cable's clone. No, seriously, it's Cable's clone. Yep. The annual is basically a tie-in to Atlantis Attacks. If you're curious, though, what Atlantis Attacks is, it was a crossover involving all the Marvel books at the point, but mostly the annuals, where they basically fight stuff off from Atlantis. That's simply what it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But these are just an interesting start for this book. Like, aside from facing against various threats like Asgardians, aliens, it's a fun start for this book. I'm going to give this book roughly I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10. Now, I did hear something from Liefeld from an interview he did. He picked this book mainly because of the fact that it was something not as big as doing X-Men. Plus, from what I heard, and this is according to Liefeld himself, he says at the time he took over the book, it was one of Marvel's lowest selling titles. And he managed to keep the book going for another about 15 issues before it got canceled. And of course, it got relaunched as X-Force. But here's the weird thing about this. If you're curious what happens after issue 94, it is, get this, the Extinction Agenda, which I have previously covered. Yep. And after that, the debut of Deadpool, Shatterstar. Well, Deadpool made a debut in issue 98. Shatterstar made his debut in 99. And 100 was the debut of the original X-Force team that Liefeld himself created. And now we have the long-running book that came after the book, the relaunch, where Liefeld himself would actually do the artwork, and Raven Seas is doing the writing for it. Of course, issue 2 was notorious for the return of Deadpool for his second ever appearance in the comics. Yep. And reading this book, you can clearly tell Liefeld basically enjoyed working on this book. Yeah, despite the fact it's his style, I personally like it, especially since he worked with a really good writer. Basically, the writer of these issues is Louise Simonson. Yes, Louise Simonson is the writer for the majority of these issues. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is one issue in here in another trade that does feature Cable News that Marvel only included just a cover, and that was issue 93. Yeah, for some reason, they decided to not include the issue itself for some reason. I don't know why. But Liefeld only just did the one. He skipped one issue of this whole run. I think it may have been 92 because 93 clearly is here. Oh yeah, it was actually 92. That's the only time you see Liefeld is basically do this cover art. And then the interior you get is Bob Hall. Yep. Yeah, for a good start for this book, it's really good. I give this, like I said, a 9.5 out of 10. It's damn good. I thoroughly enjoy it. on what everybody else feels about Rob Liefeld's issues for New Mutants. Now, I pretty much have covered most of this whole run. I've already covered Issue 90 already for New Mutants, so the only technically issues I haven't covered yet for Liefeld's run is 99-100. And that's it. I might cover them in the future, but not right now. Okay, so that's going to be it for this particular review. Next is going to be Shaman King. Okay, next video. Bye.